What's up, guys? Welcome to gootalks number 19. Yes, we are officially a grown-up show now. We passed the 18-year-old mark yesterday. Today, we can get into certain clubs like Control at the Avalon. You know, we're at that age where we're still, old enough to know better, but young enough to do it anyways. Anyways, moving forward, thank you for joining me here on this beautiful Thursday evening. I've only been gone, okay, it's 7:30 if you're on the West Coast. I've been gone a grand total of 11 hours and I miss home already. Oh my gosh. Those of you guys that have not come to Cleveland before, prepare yourselves. It's pretty cold out here. I definitely should have brought a scarf. If you guys are wondering, I am out here in Cleveland, Ohio for Seasons Beatings Ascension here I forget the city, but it's Cleveland. And so far, it's been all right. Had a very nice chat, very nice dinner with Ian Cofino, who was passed out over there, as well as Filipino champ Alex Valle. We ate at this place called Melt. Actually, let me see if I can show you guys a picture. It's really not going to do it justice, but you guys know me, right? I'm a food tourist. That is one of my favorite parts of traveling, is trying all of the different local cuisines. I mean, I don't know if I would call I don't know what I would call this, if I would call it like local cuisine, because it's like the Midwest. What does the Midwest like to eat? I'm not really quite sure. But let me show you guys this picture anyways, because it was a delicious grilled cheese sandwich. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I have a meat and cheese addiction. I am like it's not healthy. Check this out. See if you guys can see this. I'm gonna upload this photo to Instagram right now in just a second. So if you guys follow me on Twitter or Instagram, yes, that is what a grilled cheese is all about, right, guys? But anyways, we had some interesting talks. Filipino Champ was telling me about how he wants to do more events and about how, exhibition matches are the way to go. And I'm like, yeah, man, absolutely. Preaching to the choir here, bro. I've been saying exhibition matches since 2009. The issue, of course, is that the players and the organizers are kind of not necessarily on the same page with all those things, because I think part of the problem is, gosh, what was this called? Oh, I'll just sell it. Grilled cheese with bacon, egg, chorizo, and jalapenos from Melt. And name this location Melt. Sorry, I'm distracted. Hella distracted. Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. Bam! Alright, uploaded this bad boy. Yeah, technically I guess I'm on vacation, so I'm not, I'm still going to be going to the gym. I'm just unable to make green smoothies right now. So anyways, we were talking about exhibition matches, right? And the reason that I feel like we don't see more exhibitions is because the tournament organizers are still just that. Tournament organizers. Where do exhibition matches fall in the tournament organizer role? They're not tournaments, but they do need to be organized. And part of the reason I feel like we don't see more of that is because most tournament organizers, not all, I mean, you have Seasons Beatings, who is having exhibition matches. So obviously they understand the value of exhibition matches and content and all these things. But part of the reason why I think we don't see more of them is because most tournament organizers aren't in the content game. They are in the events game. And content right now, I feel like, is where exhibition matches thrive, right? Because we're not really at a place where people will drive and then spend money to watch a match. You know, whether it's $5, $10, $20, people don't necessarily want to pay to come watch fighting games in the same way that people will pay to go to a concert or get into a club or go to a comedy show. I don't know why, it's just not there yet. Therefore, what you have to do is market it to the interwebs, because the interwebs will pay to watch, they will pay to download, they will pay to stream. However you want to do it, the interwebs will pay for it. So, what really, I guess, needs to happen is at majors, there has to be some sort of precedent set where exhibition matches become the standard or a nice sort of bonus, and then you have more matches that are focused specifically on the exhibition matches themselves. For example, Aftershock in Santa Barbara a couple weeks ago, that wasn't a tournament, that was a NorCal versus SoCal, KOF, and Marvel 3 exhibition. I mean, sure, altogether, there were 28 players total, right? Because you had 8 on 8 for Marvel and then 5 on 5 for KOF. Excuse me. But, you know, a lot of people say, and I would agree to an extent, that setting up exhibition matches is easier than doing tournaments. And when you focus on setting up exhibition matches, you can spend more time developing the story. And I'm not talking about story as in like staged rivalry because you guys think everything is fake, right? I'm talking about giving the audience some background on the trailer. Giving people some, giving people some background on the players, like how they train for the event, why they are important, where this, I don't know, the player background, you know, why this match is important, you know, where this beef started, right? You know, all these things are important. Yeah. So, thinking about that, it looks like the Champ versus Chris G match will happen, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how excited you guys are about that. What do you guys think? East versus West, that match might be whack. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Christy looks like he doesn't care. Why would he not care? See, that's the thing. You know, it's definitely getting to the point where certain players, and I'm not naming any names, but certain players aren't necessarily going to be playing exhibition matches just for funsies, right? And this is no knock to any of these players, because if it were me, I mean, you guys know this about me, right? When it comes to something like that, if there's not something in it for me, I'm not going to do it. So I completely understand when players, let's say, don't really want to play another player in a exhibition match, or they only want to do it if there's big money involved. Like, I get that. These are good things. This is economics at work, right? Because if we can, let's say, incentivize the players by saying, and this is something that we did with bar fights, we paid each player a fee just to participate. And if they won, they got a bonus. So, in my mind, the more that we can compensate the players for performing, the better off we'll all be. Because if we can say, hey, look, we'll pay you X number of dollars, you get this money, win or lose, all you have to do is commit to playing this match at this date, this event, and maybe you agree to do some interviews before and after the match so that we can promote it properly, and everybody's happy. If you win, great, here's the extra money. If you lose, hey, at least you got something for your efforts. There's really no reason why everything should be like winner take all at this point, because everybody's getting to the point where it's like, hey, we're not getting any younger, everybody's got bills to pay. So, but of course, where where are the organizers and the content producers going to get the money to pay these people to do the matches, right? Currently, CrossCounter is the only company that is selling premium content in terms of downloads of exhibition matches, right? Now, you guys, and I'm sure you guys are the ones that we have to thank for purchasing said videos, but there's a lot of people out there that haven't bought the videos for whatever reason, right? But it's through purchasing these products that we're able to do more stuff. So I don't know if it's something like an Indiegogo page or a Kickstarter fund or something like, maybe, we say, hey, we're trying to set up this match, you donate some money, and if you donate, then you get to download it and you get to watch it in HD. Yeah. So anyways, what I'm saying is that there has to be some sort of business model in place. As far as I can see, the exhibition match route could be lucrative. The money that you could make from potential ticket sales of people showing up. The money that you can make from selling the downloads or selling a pay-per-view stream. You have a product that you could then sell to sponsors or sell advertising to sponsors or whatever, like Coca-Cola presents Filipino Champ versus Chris G, something like that. Yeah. Is this thing on? So I don't know. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen this weekend. I'm not sure who's streaming it. But we'll see what happens. But these are all necessary steps in order for the FGC to grow. Oh, sorry guys. Oh, it's late. I got that food coma, man. This sandwich is sitting in my belly. I don't need to eat anything until like Saturday. Kirsch036 says, what about getting a monthly subscription to CrossCounter? Yes, of course, that's something that I've thought about. The issue, of course, is that I don't really want to do it through Twitch because the percentage that they're talking about and the commitment that they want for doing pay-per-view is not something that I'm willing to do right now. So the other option is to rebuild the CrossCounter site and build a monthly membership site into it. So Um, it's not about subs, it's about agreements. Uh, Kevin Sparks, is Console Combat doing the Seasons Beating stream? All right. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about? Oh, a players union. That was another idea that was brought up recently. A players union would be interesting because then top players could get together and then decide which tournaments to go to. This was another conversation that Champ and I had. Players deciding which tournaments to go to would kind of set a precedent or set the bar for which tournaments are majors, which tournaments are not majors. And it could be beneficial in the sense that everybody could band together and say, well, we're only going to support this tournament or tournaments that have a guaranteed prize pot of X number of dollars. Cool. Awesome. So Console Combat is the secondary stream and Spooky is the mainstream. Oh, Third Strike Casuals? Oh. I gotta go. I'm just kidding. Seasons Beatings is in Ohio because that's where the organizers have always lived. It's not about East Coast, West Coast, whatever. Oh, speaking of which, what if the FGC pros challenge each other to multiple genres to attract a general audience? Vegas Gaming says, I don't know. I have zero interest in, well, I don't know. CEO Jabali just out-replied me. I have an idea for Friday Night Fight Night at CEO 2013 boxing style. I will make it work. Excellent. That's what I'm talking about. Jabali's got the right idea. Yeah, so the Golden Cat says, what about a governing body? Very difficult to pull off, especially because, you have, in order for like some sort of league or governing body or something to really happen and really be like on a large scale, eventually what's going to have to happen is Capcom, Namco, all the developers are going to have to come to a sort of consensus maybe and work with said governing body. And that is certainly, as you guys can imagine, where things get sticky. You have issues such as intellectual property rights, licensing. Everybody wants a piece of the action. You have sponsors. Where does the money go? Who's in charge? Who starts it? Who gets to be? Oh my gosh, such a mess. Yes. X-Rock says, a boxing/MMA style card of exhibition matches totally makes sense. This is what we were doing since 2009 with the original bar fights. What can I say? Hobotex says, what do players do when they're not playing at majors? Every time on stream, it's just people sitting for hours waiting to play. Seems boring. Yes, this is true. This is true. Anyways. Invictsuno said, would it be easier if MLG and Capcom stopped their beef? Sure, but it would be easier, but just because a league has the Capcom games doesn't mean that they would be the governing body, so to speak, right? Because a governing body should represent all, or at least most, of the major entities involved: the developers, publishers. I mean, the publisher, the players, the organizers, the content producers, everybody, the leagues, not just the link. I mean, not just the leagues themselves. Dash Zero says, did bar fights fail? If so, what caused it to fail? No, absolutely not. Bar fights did very well. It did well. But it's extremely difficult to pull off. And I mean, I don't really know. I don't know that I would do the same thing in the same way again. Obviously, as you guys know, I think the exhibition match model is the way to go. For us, I'm just not sure about the best way to implement it. In a perfect world, we'd be able to set up 1 or 2 matches for every 1 or 2 matches for every single major. How can we get more events like it? Well, I mean, the issue is that I'm not sure that people would pay to show up and watch. Let's say we had 350 people show up for free. If those 350 people would show up and pay $5 to $10, then we could totally do it, and it would be no problem at all. If all of our costs are covered on entry fees or spectator fees, whatever, I don't like that. Ticket sales. If all of our costs are covered by ticket sales, we can make the money on the back end through the content. Yeah. Beefuteki says, hey Gootecks, would you ever do a bar fights on the East Coast? I don't know any bars on the East Coast, so I mean, logistically, I feel logistically it's a nightmare. Unless I'm going to go over there to scope out venues and then work out all that stuff. I mean, it's not that it wouldn't work there. Of course it would work there. It's just, logistically, I feel like it's hard. It's hard. Oh, raffle off prize. Vegas Gaming says, why not raffle off prizes to the spectators? Okay, everybody that pays gets a ticket, a raffle ticket for something. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Xbox says open tournaments definitely still have a place, but yes, we still need more set participant exhibitions and smaller invitational tournament events. Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying that open tournaments should be done away with or serve no purpose. They totally do, absolutely. But that's not where I personally want to be spending my time. $3,500 certainly covers. Yeah, actually, that would cover everything. $3,500 would cover the space, the sound, lighting, and stage, and it would cover travel for like 1 player. It's like not. It's not that big of a deal. The issue really is getting 350 people there to pay that amount, right? Well, see, the players, you really only need to fund the the main event and then the sub main event, and then everything else you don't necessarily need to pay the players with anything. How much did I have to invest to get bar fights off the ground? Did you have to do it yourself or with sponsors? The first one in 2009, I don't even know how much I spent. It was a lot. Um, I did it myself with private investors. Yeah. But I mean, that was it. I mean, you don't have to do you don't have to do it that way in order to like make it happen. Like you definitely don't need that much money to do it. Um, Frosty AU says, why don't you get a bunch of top weeklies to sign up to a ranking system where you can earn pro points? Yeah, that's a good idea, but I'm not gonna do it. It would work, but you know, that's not where I'm going. I think the whole betting thing is interesting. I don't think any of that is legal in the United States without a gambling license. Maybe that's something that could be explored through a European gambling website. Um, but I don't think that you can really. I don't think even in Vegas you can do it without a license. I think you need a license for all these things. All right. Well, I think we've beaten this horse to death. Uh, where is Combo Fiend? Dude missed his flight, but I know he's here in town now. I might be getting hungry again. Just kidding. Zetsubo Sentinel says, do you think that there's any way a large corporation can properly sponsor players in a way that both parties are satisfied with the end result? Absolutely. But what company is that and what steps need to be taken in order to make that happen? Who knows? What's more likely, honestly, and what's probably going to happen first is more large companies jumping on the. Damn it, that reminds me, I gotta follow up with this guy. Oops. Gosh, you guys know I'm super terrible about following up uh, with people. Anyways, what's more likely to happen rather than big corporations sponsoring players is big corporations are more likely to sponsor events. For example, Red Bull presents bar fights. Red Bull presents seasons beating. You know, like Red Bull does all kinds of things in the music world. You know, the Red Bull Music Academy. They do stuff in gaming too. I don't know, like fighting games just aren't at the level that, you know, StarCraft and League of Legends is at. Fighting games aren't at the level that esports is at. So, yes, exactly. Red Bull presents Punko. So, I mean, you know, I feel like that's something that can happen at some point, but it's really, really not there yet. Kaplow says, or sponsor teams like Complexity or EG. You know, you guys do know that that's already in place, right? Complexity is sponsored by Sound Blaster, EG is sponsored by Monster and Intel and Kingston, all these different brands. Hold Back to Block says, how as content producers can we attract those corporations to our events? In your encounters with them, what qualities have they looked for? I couldn't tell you, man. In my mind, it's all in having an existing relationship with people that are working in that department of the company or building that relationship. And I don't know. I mean, you look at an event like Evo, right? And you could think to yourself, well, why aren't there more large corporate sponsors? You know? There's certainly enough people there. There's certainly enough avenues with which a brand could put themselves in the view of the 18 to 30-year-old male demographic. But it just doesn't happen. I mean, I'm not the guy that goes out there and like hits up sponsors and whatnot. That's not what I do, because I would rather do the things that I do best, which is produce content. You know, like how am I gonna go? I don't know. I'm just not there. Yeah, I'm just not there. You know, I mean, I don't even know where to start, right? I know all of the ways that all of these companies can get plenty of, you know, logo space or whatever, logo impressions. But, yeah, I mean, there's all these companies, there's all these people, fighting games are so big, and yet somehow we're still not on anybody's radar. Ah, yes. Zetsubo Sentinel says, well, with the current economical situation, I think that these companies may view the FGC and their events as a financial risk. So maybe if the economy was a bit stronger, the FGC would have a fighting chance at gaining a spotlight from large companies. I don't agree with that, but when you said risk, that triggered a conversation that I had when I was in New York for the most recent MLG event. I was talking with one of these guys over there, and they were saying that to these large companies, fighting game FGC events are a risk because they are unproven. Whereas if you look at something like MLG, it's not a risk because they've been doing it for so long and they have like all of this money and big, large sponsors and huge events. But when you look at an FGC event, it's just simply not on that level of production, and it's not on that level in terms of scale and sheer numbers. So FGC events are risky in that regard. But it's not about the economy. It's not like, oh, if we had more money, we would sponsor you. That's just bad business. I am 100% confident that I can show any company concrete ROI on any money that is invested in my company or one of my events. How? It's just It's just about numbers and conversion rates. That's it. You have a certain amount of traffic. You drive traffic to a landing page. You track the number of, successful calls to action that you have accumulated through the promotion, and then you say, here we go. For example, Coca-Cola says, oh, we want to sponsor the event. This is where I think a lot of people do it wrong. When it comes to sponsoring an event, it's not supposed to be a fucking charity, donation. Sponsors are looking for ROI. How do you show ROI? Well, it's not as simple as just putting the logo on the stream and then you have all these impressions with the logo and saying, here you go. The sponsor or the advertiser says, okay, well, this is great. I have 50,000 new impressions, through all these handful of videos that have my logo on it. That's great. But show me the money. I invested $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 into sponsoring your event, and I'm not seeing any tangible return. Well, the way that we fix these issues is by creating landing pages and sending traffic and running promos to those landing pages. So we say, hey, go to this page and sign up to get a free something, something, something from so-and-so. This can be done with content. This can be done MP3s, videos, documents, reports, ebooks, whatever. So it's more like, how do you create a trackable promotional package for an advertiser, right? But of course, all these things have to be in place. A lot of the companies that are advertising, they don't necessarily have the means to put all this stuff together. Maybe they just have like $500 that they want to spend on advertising. They don't want to spend $500 on advertising and then spend another $200, $300 to create a landing page to drive traffic to an offer, to build a mailing list, or to build a Facebook following, or whatever. Gork says, what if we approached more TV corporations? I know we were associated commonly with G4 and even video game editors that when they heard about Evo, maybe they just post the results and maybe an article. I just remember that with MLG, they'd always do Halo 2 tournament recordings like early Saturday morning. Although it was early, imagine how many gamers watch TV. Hoping they'll find something to do with games now that G4 is gone. This is regarding promotion ideas, not necessarily details and financial plans. I don't know. TV is, to me, is a dead medium. Like, I've watched a little bit of TV in the past week. And I'm just like, dude, who watches this? This is ridiculous. I don't think there's any future for TV over there. For us. I don't know. So that's pretty much the thing with the sponsors. It's difficult, like we were talking with a company that shall remain nameless about basically putting together these exhibition matches and using them to collect leads for this company. And the idea being that they would pay to have their name be like one of the producers, like Acme Corporation presents Filipino Champ versus Chris G, right? And then you would go to Acme Corporation's landing page. You would sign up for the email list, and then it would email you the video, right? And then they could say, okay, well, the X number of dollars that we invested got us X number of leads from this particular promo. All the people that sign up get this amazing video, and we got all these leads which we can then market our stuff to. There we go. But I mean, it's tough. Like, how do you? I got close, man. Believe me, I got close. But I couldn't pull it off. for whatever reason. Maybe the deal was wrong. Maybe I didn't present it right. I don't know. But sometimes when I talk with people about this stuff, they're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm just like, it's so obvious and it's so clear in my mind. And I don't know, I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know, like, if I'm not, if the person that I'm talking to isn't familiar with the idea of collecting leads and, you know, call to action and getting, you know, driving traffic to sales pages and squeeze pages, then it's like, dude, we're not even speaking the same language. And it's like, you're, you know, luckily the guy that I was, this is the first time actually that the guy that I talked to did know about these things, and we were speaking the same language. So I don't know, I must have messed up something else somewhere else along the line. But when you're not dealing with people that are speaking the same marketing language as you, it's like, dude, I didn't like, you're the professional. I'm just this fucking random ass dude that like somehow knows all these things. So, anyways, if you guys just joined us, I was just talking about the idea of selling title sponsorship of content, like exhibition matches, and then leveraging that content to generate leads for the company who paid for it. Simple stuff. Zetsubo Sentinel says, well, say that in the given situation that you said before with a corporation sponsoring an event, what about, say, coupon codes for their products? Because I may be wrong, but on average a product is marked up 80 to 100% to cover manufacturing costs, so a 10% coupon on, say, Pepsi wouldn't mean anything. So maybe there should be a sort of poll to see what the average FGC participant likes and get the transcript of the results to a company that would meet that demand. Interesting. What kind of products are we talking here? Any product, right? Pepsi, Coke, Red Bull, Old Spice. Maybe we just have to think of like a particular like type of product and then explore the different brands in that space. Kaplow, what about selling game guides written by pros? Licensing. The issue with that is licensing. You can write guides, but if they have any of the intellectual property included in it, such as videos or screenshots or whatever, you will get sued at some point. Or at least get a cease and desist. Dartful Lodger says if you want to watch a stream, you got to fill out a survey. Now we're talking. That is genius. Fill out a survey. Complete this offer to watch the stream. I'm writing that one down. Yeah, I like that. Or complete an offer to watch the stream. That is genius. That, I like that. Dartful Lodger, you, my friend, are the gootalks viewer of the day. High five. Zexy Commando says it's already happening though. Pros are working with Brady, etc. Yes and no. Problem with written guides is that they are outdated as soon as they're released. Hedonic Treadmill says, I think the only problem with that is that the individual streamer doesn't have much control over stuff like that. It's the stream provider that has the control. No, yes and no. You can be doing private streaming yourself. You know that you don't need Twitch, Own3D, YouTube, Livestream.com. You don't need any of these things to do a stream. You know that if you have the technical know-how, which some of us do, that you could set up a private stream yourself that was embeddable only on the site that you wanted it to be, behind a paywall or behind some sort of site that made you fill out a survey in order to watch it. So it's really just about your technical ability or your ability to hire somebody else that can get it done. The way that I would do it is I would probably not do a live stream. I would probably make it, I would probably do like, do an offer type of thing. Fill out the survey, do this trial of, I don't know if you guys have ever gone to a site where in order to get what you went there for, whether it was to download something or watch something or whatever, you had to like do a trial membership. It was like a free trial membership of like Blockbuster Video or Netflix or some shit like that. Hedonic Treadmill says, I hear you, Big Goo, but I think you would get hurt a lot by not being part of the bigger stream market, like a non-YouTube video site. Not trying to be a negative Nancy. Yes, I absolutely see what you're saying there. However, if we can create a video that was something that everybody was dying to see, but we made we hosted it on our own site, then it doesn't need to be on YouTube because it can get around via word of mouth on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. So although we wouldn't get as much traffic as we would if we put it up for free on YouTube, we don't need to get as much traffic because we're getting paid based on whatever offers, surveys, or whatever, and something that we control ourselves. Yeah, so the numbers don't need to be as high. This is fun, right? I kick around ideas. You guys have good feedback. You guys are so smart. Anyways. Yo, Ian. 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 You still want to go out? It's like 11:17. All right. He's awake. I got him, guys. Don't worry. You guys couldn't see it, but he threw the pen back at me. What's up, VJ says, gootex, should you lie on your resume? Here's a thought. If you are extremely qualified or even overqualified for a job, you shouldn't even need a resume. You ever thought about that one? I've been offered jobs. I didn't have to make a resume. Think about that. I'm not touching that one. I don't really, in theory, the way that you should be getting jobs if you wanted to get a job is that you would have a super solid connect at the place that you wanted to work at. And they would put in a good word for you. They bring you in, interview you, boom, you got the job. You don't even need the resume. Or maybe you don't even need the interview. They just bring you in. You're like, hey, you're on. V923 says, Gootecks, is it worth having a business card anymore in this day of social networking? Absolutely. I always forget to take my cards, and sometimes they come in handy. Usually, though, if you get the person's info, okay, this is usually what I say. I'm like, look, hey, I forgot my cards or whatever. I ran out of cards. Give me your info, and I'll follow up with you. The only reason that having cards is valuable is because you have a physical representation and a reminder that you met that person. Because when you go home at night and you empty your pockets and you take out your loose change, you have the cards and you're like, oh shit, I gotta follow up with so and so. And just putting the info into your phone doesn't cut it unless you also set a reminder. So those are like practical lessons practical advice that I have to take myself because I always forget to follow up. Subscription Joker says, Gootecks, do you think the FGC will ever be able to compete with the PC market in terms of esports money? Yes. Also a topic of conversation earlier. If we were playing on PC, it'd probably be a lot easier to do it. Unfortunately, only AE and Cross Tekken are on PC. But as soon as somebody makes this free-to-play PC fighting game, man, we are in there. Why Godzilla Y says, Gootecks, do you kiss on the first date? Are you ready, Ian? All right. If you're not kissing on the first date, you ain't making it to the second date, homie. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching today, guys. I have no capacity with which to stream any sort of gameplay right now, but there are videos of Goo Talks and Goo Plays and Third Strike Revival going up all weekend, basically at 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Pacific time, depending on the day. So all day we got videos coming out. So go to youtube.com/crosscountertv. Follow us on the Twitters, the Facebooks, and the YouTubes. Please hit the follow button. Follow me on Twitter. Hit me up with whatever. I'm going to go out and about here in I know it's Cleveland, but Independence, Ohio. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you later.